should be a decent matchup. Fat Kids, they're the home team. They're going to be playing Bankroll. And Matty Dozen runs Bankroll and Moneyline. He's not playing today, obviously, as this is an SSA roster tournament. Fat Kids right away trying to kill me on the infield practice. For those of you from out of state, this is Chicago 16-inch style softball. You're seeing it correctly. We do not wear gloves. And 60-foot bases. Can lead off, but you can't steal. 38 feet from the pitching rubber to the point of home plate. We're playing no gloves, so the pitcher gets a drag step, one step left, right, or back. Two fakes or hesitation. Third arm action has to deliver the ball home. Throw or a fake to a base is considered one of those fakes or hesitations. 6-12 on the arc, 1-1 count. If we go extra innings, we'll be using the California rule. That's where they start the runner at second base. And the last out of the previous inning will run at second. We do use heavy bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, no longer than 34, 2 1/4 on the barrel. And there's no fence here, so you hit it anywhere in that outfield, it's going to be all you can get. Okay amount of foul line down this first baseline, as you can see. Not that quite as much down the left field foul line. Leading off is going to be John Pellegrino. Johnny, long-time softball guy. And we're underway. First pitch is high and deep for a ball. That kid's had a lot of good success last year. And there's a little cut shot fair right on the chalk. Just barely made it to the grass. Johnny Pellegrino leads off for Bankroll with a base hit. It's going to bring up Russ DeLude. A couple of former Mudville guys on this Bankroll team. Matty manages it. Rusty plays. Mike Andrews, Dave Bradle, Luke Thorpe, Bobby Monroe. So, pretty interesting there. Actually, I see Matty put himself on the lineup card. I don't know if he is on the Moneyline roster or not. Of course, this is a roster tournament. All teams had a hand in their roster today. And that'll be their SSA roster until the add drop period. Although for you teams out there starting to prepare your rosters, this is Russ DeLude now as we reset. And he hammers a base hit. Pellegrino will stop at second. First two hitters on. Just as a reminder, if you don't actually have 20 solid committed guys, you can leave those slots blank and you can fill them at any time during the season, as long as they're not on an SSA roster. Now, if your roster's full, then in August you have to go through the add drop procedure. So here's Mike Andrews. Mike, a very solid hitter. And we'll update all the scores. At 1 o'clock, we'll show you Whale, and they'll be playing either Bullies or Menace. Menace a slight favorite in that game. And Andrews delivers a hit to right center. Pellegrino's going to score. DeLude to third. 1-0, Bankroll. So top of the first three hitters get on, and here's Dave Bradle. So Moneyline, they got a couple of kids. They also got some older guys. It's supposed to tip toward 80 today. So this is a pretty important game for Bankroll. They'll get a little bit of a break after this. And of course, this is a consolation tournament. This is the Fat Kids' first game. So when you have a consolation tournament and you got a team that gets a bye like the Fat Kids do, the team that feeds in actually ends up getting a 3-game guarantee, in the sense that they would go into the loser's bracket. And there's a high pop-up way out of play. So we're chugging along. Next big event. It's going to be the Westchester TOC, the kickoff of the Chicago Summer Series, which we announced. You can see that press release pinned to the top of our Facebook page. As we reset here with Dave Bradle. And there's a little ground ball over to Nick. And they call the double play. Another run does score. So Nick Jones got it over to Jason Camarillo, and he turned. And you can review the tape there. Bang, bang at first. Fat Kids might have caught a break there. And it brings up Luke Thorpe. 2-0 bankroll. So Dave Bradle likes to cut push. Looked like he was trying to cut the gap. And Luke Thorpe gets robbed as Nick Jones climbs the ladder, snags a hard line drive, but at the end of one inning, or half inning I should say, 2-0, bankroll jumps ahead of Fat Kids. Of course, the live stream is being brought to you by our good friends over at Gold Rush Gaming. If you're going to put video gaming in your establishment, give them a call at 630-307-0500, or you can email them at inquiries@goldrushgaming.com. And please gamble responsibly. So Fat Kids in a very early 2-0 hole here. And they're going to go with Jason Camarillo, Emilio Engel, and Anthony Misek, also known as Noach. So I'm fighting a lot of glare here. So I can't see comments. Leadoff hit by Camarillo. As Fat Kids come out and put their leadoff man on. That brings up Emilio Engel. 2-0 bankroll here. And Emilio pounds it into right center. That's a base hit. Camarillo chugging into third, and he'll make it easily. So Fat Kids not dissuade. They come right out, and they put their first two hitters on. You don't know where you're going to hit. And that's going to bring up Noach. And Noach pushes it through the hole. First run scores for the Fat Kids. Engel cruises into third. Now the throw gets over Zeman, and they tie the game at 2. So a little sloppy there getting the ball in, and the Fat Kids have come right back to tie the ball game.
Hey, nobody! Hey, Cat, no walk, can't be scored!
And that's going to bring up Matt Peckus. And Matt sweeps a base hit. Fat Kids have put 3 quick up on the board. They lead 3-2. So again, Fat Kids unimpressed by the 2 runs that Bankroll scored. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to get the scoreboard taken care of here. That's going to bring up Brandon Molina. Still nobody out here. Fat Kids have put up a 3 to take the lead here in the bottom of the first.
I already did. I'm going to steal it. I 28 green.
And there's a little ground ball. Andrews. Andrews got it over to the short center, Dave Winslow. Ball wasn't hit hard enough. Well, they do call the double play, so 2 outs. Both teams, I think, have caught a break on double plays here. I was a little distracted, but as I like to say, you can rewind the tape. Here's Nick Jones. So both teams swinging it early. It's going to be a warm day here. Fighting a little glare, folks, so if I'm a little slow picking up the comments, bear with me. And there's a swing and a base hit down the left field line. As Nick just turned and hooked it. Good job there by the left fielder getting on it. And that's Anthony Mezzaredino. Brings up Nestor Carrillo. And there's a swing, and he flips it in front of Bobby Monroe. 2 runners on. So after the double play here, Fat Kid's starting to restart the rally again. Brings up Mike Cruz. And Mike hits a high fly ball. Left fielder is there, belly catch, and he makes the catch. So at the end of 1 full complete inning, 3-2 Fat Kids. So if you're not doing anything, come on out. Manny Sanchez is cooking up some good food. He's got tacos, hamburgers, hot dogs, chips. Pleasant day, not a lot of wind. Just recently we got a little cloud coverage. It was bright sunshine at the beginning of the day, so that should help these guys out. Weather's been a little on the cool side the last couple of weeks, so a lot of these guys that have been playing have been going to their league games, but this is the first time they've really saddling up on a warm day. Here's Jake Zeman leading off, be followed by Chris Shishan and Brian Fry. There's a swing and a base hit as he guided it between the short center and the shortstop. So Bankroll, 2 courtesy runners allowed in this game, last out runs. So they'll use one, their courtesies for Jake. So if I had to handicap the tournament, and you can see the bracket, it's online on our Facebook page if you scroll down, I would think the top 4 favorites would be Fat Kids, Goodwood, Menace, and Whale. And there's a little ground ball, and that's going to sneak through the middle. Luke Thorpe, and he's going to be out at third. Coming up firing, the center fielder, Brandon Molina, one hop strike, and they get Luke Thorpe easy at third. Shishan did hustle into second, so one out runner on second on a perfect throw by Brandon Molina. And we saw Brandon a little bit last year, very solid outfielder, good arm, accurate, and he showed it there. So here's Brian Fry, and Brian hits a ground ball to Jones, and now they got Shishan hung up, and he slides underneath the tag. So a lot of hesitation there, both by the runner and by Nick Jones. And Nick danced a little bit because Shishan was basically 20 feet from third. At that point, he really can't go back to second. Nick would have been better off throwing it immediately to the third baseman and maybe trying to get him in a rundown if he tried to go back. Here's Winslow. So runners on the corners here. Bankroll trying to tie it up. High fly ball. That should tie the game. Caught in foul territory. Dave Brado, courtesy running, hustles into second. We're all tied at 3. So 3-3 ball game. And here's Bobby Monroe. So 2 outs here. Lead runner at second base for Monroe. And he tries to go over the top there, fouls it harmlessly down the line. So pretty good crowd here. Everybody has not played yet. And they're spread out all over the field. And what you see a lot of times is teams will bring tents out. You can see way, way, way down there in left center field, there's a team with camped out. And there are some gaps here where some teams will wait for an hour or two. And there he tried to get him to swing at a fastball, and he did. And Monroe took the bait, flies out for out number 3. So we're going to go to the bottom of the second, tied at 3. So both teams are getting base runners and getting action. Both teams have hit into a double play as we head to the bottom of the second, 3-3. So I'm going to take a break and grab a quick swig of water, and I'll be right back with you. So here we go, leading off. It's going to be Jesse Rosado, the second baseman. And he hits a little soft pop-up. I'm using a new plug today. So if you're out there watching on Facebook or whatever, let me know how the sound is. So again, we are playing 1-1 count. Jesse takes that pitch just a little high. Jake Zeman, of course, his father, Ronnie Zeman. And there's a little fly ball coming in as the left fielder makes the basket catch for out number 1. That brings up Kevin Evans, the right fielder. Thank you, George. So we will have a 1 o'clock game. Takes that pitch. Must have been a little flat or a little outside. We'll have a 1 o'clock game, and then we'll take a look at the bracket. We'll definitely be back. Championship scheduled at 6, which I think is a little optimistic when you run an event on the hour. And he takes a walk, so 1-out walk here. And they're back to the top of the lineup with Jason Camarillo.
Way to make him work, kid. They know what he's going to do. Right behind you. You good.
And there's a little ground ball. Winslow, a little bobble, but he will have time. He did recover.
Hey, you all right?
That's good communication there. I think Winslow was going to, after he bobbled that, was thinking about still trying to go to second. I think Luke Thorpe, the shortstop, was telling him 1. So they did get the out, but it brings up Emilio Engel. And there are 2 of my favorite people on the planet, Richie Orico in the neon, and of course Pops Alejandro.
Right over.
Well, I'm planning on doing it. Not quite sure George Bliss was going to try to get out here. So I may do the 1 o'clock game and have George do a game after that. Excuse me. Of course, we've all seen Bullies on the live stream several times. Menace should win. It would be our first real look at them this year. And there's a hard ground ball knocked down by the third baseman. Then it rolled into foul territory. So Rusty knocked it down, saved a potential double, and temporarily a run. That brings up Anthony Mysek. Primetime did win. Brandon, they hung on and beat Born Divine 5-4. Born Divine was down 5-3 heading into the 7th. And Rusty can't make a play there. Hot one hopper bounced up and hit him in the chest, and the Fat Kids take a 4-3 lead here.
Pack, let's go, Pack. Hey, we got another one right here. Let's go. Go on, Emilio.
So Rusty a little aggravated with himself. Normally a very sure-handed third baseman. Yeah, Born Divine scored a run in the bottom of the 7th. They had the tie, and that's fouled by Peckus. They had the tying and winning runs on base, but couldn't seal the comeback.
Good energy.
So if you're in the TOC, work on those rosters. They're going to be due Friday before the draw. Throwback, not in time. And this is how you do lineup cards. Numbers, names, positions. And Peckus, another hit, and it skips past the left fielder. 1 run is in. Here comes Camarillo. Peckus is going to cruise in with a stand-up triple. 2-run triple by Matt Peckus. So Fat Kids take a 6-3 lead. So Jake Zeman flattened out a little bit there. Peckus made him pay. Brings up Brandon Molina made that spectacular throw to gun down the runner trying to go first to third. put a dent in that one-run second inning that Bankroll was trying to manufacture. Luke Thorpe, what a pick. And that'll end the inning. Luke Thorpe, spectacular play up the middle. Looked like it was going to be a base hit. The ball skipped and jumped up, snagged it, and did a little 360 throw right on the money. Luke, a very talented kid. Had the pleasure of having him for a couple of years when he was really young. But he had kind of a crazy work schedule at that time. But fun player. So we head to the top of the third, 6-3 Fat Kids. And this 1-1 count does tend to move the games a little quicker. So this is a very attractive little park here, tucked into the middle of a residential neighborhood. So here's Anthony Miserandino. Takes that pitch. And just because Amalia checked in, I'll show her one of Amalia's favorite people, Pops Alejandro over there. He of Meatball City fame. And base hit. So Anthony, hitting 11th today, pitches in with a big base hit here to start the top of the third. And Moneyline with their top of the lineup here coming up. So trailing by 3. Don't want the Fat Kids to get too comfortable. You want to keep some pressure on them. Last time up, Pellegrino hit a ball that hit right on the corner of the dirt and the grass on the edge of the infield. And there he cuts it a little harder, and that drops and skips past the left fielder. Miserandino is going to score. Pellegrino takes a leisurely stroll down to second base. So 6-4 ball game. So the young left fielder kind of got caught in no man's land there. Looked like he was going to try to dive. Then he tried to pull up on it. Ball hit the grass and skipped past him. And here's Rusty Delude. And Ross goes the other way. Jesse Rosado makes the catch. Throws it across for out number 1. Brings up Mike Andrews. Sure, Russ would like to have that swing back. Was the right thought process. He was trying to go the other way to at least move the runner, but once he popped it up, didn't happen. And there's a long drive on his horse, and Mike Andrews gets it over to left fielder. Pellegrino leisurely stroll from second base, and Andrews a one-out RBI triple. And just like that, it's 6-5 with the tying run at third base. So good answer here by the Bankroll squad. And they got a lot of guys that been around. They got a little age on them. But sometimes age and experience is important, especially early in a tournament when your age and experience is still fresh. And Brado pounds a hit, and we're all tied at 6. So early in this ball game, we got ourselves a seesaw going on.
We got one out here, Randy.
Neither team been able to really take control. Both have had multiple run leads and seen them vanish almost immediately. So here's Luke Thorpe. Spectacular play to end the bottom of the second. Got robbed by Nick Jones his last time up. So Nick's a pretty tall kid and he climbed the ladder. And Thorpe pounds it to left, but Johnny on the spot out there is Emilio Engel as he makes the catch. He had a little extra on that throw, and I think he might be a little agitated that he got beat over the top. We do have a slight breeze now picking up as we've gotten a little cloud cover. And it feels like it's blowing from right to left. Maybe right center over. And Jake Zeman cuts it in front of Engel. And they've got two base runners on now with 2 outs. Brings up Chris Shishan. So there's 2 outs here. Both runners will be flying on the swing. Of course, the first time we saw Chris Shishan, he was playing for Ray Zarnick on the Shooters. Ray's brought a lot of younger kids into the game. And there he golfs it down the right field line, but it's going to fade foul. That would have been big trouble. Certainly would have scored 2 runs. Now you see, we're playing the fence line down. So had that ball hit the carpet, bounced to the right, not a play there, it would have been a ground rule double. And that would have stopped this guy, Luke Thorpe, from scoring. So 2 strikes now on Shishan. And there's a pickoff play. The only guy he fooled was Noach at first. Noach wasn't even on the bag. And there's a little grounder handled by the pitcher. And we'll head to the bottom of the third. New game again, 6-6. I'm not a big fan of the pickoff plays. A lot of teams use them. It's very, very rare when a guy gets picked off. Most guys aren't that far off the bag. And as a pitcher, I'd rather have that fake or hesitation in my back pocket. Again, we do play underhand, obviously, but the good pitchers, everybody's 1 through 5 will do a certain amount of damage in a ball game, 1 through 6. It's what you do against 7 versus 11. So you never really want to put yourself in a position where you're giving those 7 to 11 hitters a little bit of an edge. If you run out of fakes or hesitations, and then you just got to deliver the ball, it makes it a little easier on a hitter, and it makes it very difficult to disrupt timing. So it's going to be Nick Jones, Nestor Carrillo, and Mike Cruz for the Fat Kids here in the bottom of the third. That pitch didn't miss by much. Apparently, Brandy felt it was a little deep for the height. I think what the bankroll guys were thinking is, looked like a ball. It was a little high for that height. That's not technically illegal unless the umpire feels it was higher than 12 feet. And there's a little beat-down ball, throw to first just in time. You might have noticed Gio took a little half-step back. He didn't want a collision with Nick Jones. So leadoff man down. There's one of my favorite co-ed players. So 1 out, nobody on here. Top of the third. And there's a high, long fly ball that's going to be in the street. Nestor Carrillo, the pitcher. All my favorite guys over here. There's Kelly Patton from High Y. As always, color coordinated and looking sharp. Say a lot of things about Kelly, but he does certainly have good fashion sense. Pitch a little inside. I like what Jake is trying to do a little more of this inning. He's trying to give him, there's a little flare, and that's going to drop fair by about a half a foot. Nice little cut swing there. And with one out, they put a base runner on. So here's Mike Cruz, the third baseman. So like I said, Jake is starting to subtly move to different spots, and he's mixing up the height and depth a little better. Bobby Monroe is there, puts it away for out number 2. One more out here, we might have our first dry half inning of the ball game. So here comes Jesse Rosado. And there's a soft fly ball, and the left fielder puts it away without much difficulty. We'll head to the top of the 4th, still 6-6. So we just put up a couple of more interviews, if you didn't get a chance to see it. We had Joel Alejandro on. Talked a little bit about Meatball City, who of course won the 2024 SSA Guaranteed Rate Affinity Kickoff Classic presented by Matt Dozen. And then we also had Joe Serpico, who runs the softball out here in the Veterans Park District out here in Melrose. So Brian Fry, Dave Winslow, and Bobby Monroe, 8, 9, 10 coming up. 6-6 ball game. Not quite halfway through, but moving along here. 10 Deep looked good this morning. They beat 40 Deuce. And I'll get to all the scores for all the games when I get off the stream up online. Jason Carrillo, little bobble, strong throw, not in time. And Brian Fry beats it out. I don't know when the last time Brian had an infield hit, but he gets one there. It brings up Winslow. I'm going to slide over here. Dave does have a tendency sometimes to hard pull. And there's a swing and a base hit. First 2 hitters on. Yeah, it comes and goes. I got a history of sinus, excuse me, sinus issues, so some days good, some days bad. So here comes Bobby Monroe, and he delivers a base hit. Courtesy runner's going to score. Runner's on the corner, 7-6. So after trailing by 3, Bankroll the last couple innings has found their offense. and they reclaimed the lead at 7-6 here. And they got first and third, nobody out. Brings up Anthony Miseradino. Just going to call him Anthony. And he swings and tries to walk the dog, but it's going to drift foul. So we talk about how your bottom's got to chip in. And certainly the bankroll bottom this inning is chipping in. Now, if you're Anthony now, you got 2 strikes on you. Your goal is to get one in and get one over. They've loaded up on the right side of the infield. He pulls the ball. That's going to get one in. Molino's already shown you he can throw, and he throws another good one in. He does get one run in, though. And bankroll pushes out to 8-6. I think I might have double tapped that.
Anywhere you want, John.
So 8-6. Top of the bankroll order up. Runner on first now with one out here. And there's a little spinner. Might have hurt him. Looked like they might have had a hit and run on there. Pellegrino got a pitch he didn't like. Did a good job just to foul it off so he didn't hang his base runner up. Two strikes now on Pellegrino. And Johnny's been a long time cut push guy, so we know he's got back control. That's a good pitch there by Nestor. Just kind of checking to make sure that they didn't. And now Pellegrino tries to go hard to the gap. Hung up there a little bit. So got that little bit of that cross breeze. 2 outs now for Russ DeLude. Now if you're Bobby Monroe here, at first you're going to be taken off on the swing. And Rusty does have a little pop. Any kind of a stretch single will probably score Monroe from first. And I like that, the fact that Russ took his hand off the bat. That lets the runner know he's not swinging. And there he tries the hard cut. That's foul. I'm not necessarily a big fan of that hard cut in RBI situations. The only reason why I say that is you hard cut it to left, hard for the runner to go to third, and Russ has got more of a natural drive swing. You'd like to see him use that a little bit more. Pitch way inside. So full count here. He'll be running on the release from the pitcher. There he goes. And Rusty tries to go the other way, but the young right fielder is there, Kevin Evans, and he makes a basket catch. But in the inning, Bankroll pushes a couple across halfway through, 8-6. And I'm going to grab another swig of water. So it's going to be 11-1-2. Evans, Camarillo, and Engel. Last time the Fat Kids were down 2-0, they responded with a 3 spot.
Get out. Go get it.
And there's a ground ball back to the pitcher. And for anybody listening, when these people post things, I notice on one of the other channels, blister rig, they're not vetted. Do not support them. And don't even bother going to their sites. People on Facebook aren't seeing it, but I am. So Jason grounds it, dive by Winslow, no play possible. One out base runner. Camarillo grounds a single up the middle. So brings up Emilio Angle. So Fat Kids had a tendency last year to look fantastic. They would get to the Final Four, and then they seemed to struggle a little bit. So they had a good year, but they just couldn't seal the deal on a couple of tournaments. So Jake Zeman, after giving up 6 very early in the game, seems to be settling in a little bit here. And there's a high, long fly ball, and left fielder got there, Anthony. Looked like it could have been trouble. A little too much air, though. Again, here at field level, we're feeling that cross breeze. Flag looks like it's blowing more straight in now from right center. Over by the building, and the top of the trees moving a little bit. Brings up Anthony Misek. So we'll reach out to this blister rig and see if we can't block them from our streams. So here's Jake now. Flat Kids right now look a little flat. They're usually a team with a lot of energy. They're still plugged in. It doesn't look like anybody on the bench is hanging their head, but and Notes draws a 2-out walk, and it brings up Peckus. And Matt Peckus has been barreling up so far in this contest, so I'm sure that was not the unintentional intentional walk.
Wide open, wide open.
And Matt swings and he drills it just foul. That ball been fair. That might have scored 2. We might have been tied. He's dangerous. So the other diamond looks like it's slightly ahead. 10 deep getting ready, it looks like, to play their second game of the day. And there's a ground ball deflected. Winslow can't make the play at second, but he throws across. So Mini Threat goes by the board. We head to the top of the 5th, 8-6. So managers of the TOC, we sent a reminder out. We'll be doing the draw May 11th over at Gulliver's at 4 p.m. That's a Saturday. please try to have a representative at the draw. So coming up, it's going to be Mike Andrews, Dave Bradle, and Luke Thorpe. So here's Andrews, going to try to start the inning. Bankroll right now, Fat Kids do have a pretty solid offense. When they hit, they do tend to hit as a group. I wouldn't feel comfortable up 2. And right now they look a little flat, so I would. And that's a nice job, again, by the pitcher. Jumped his hold, Nestor. He gets Andrews to bounce out. So it'll bring up Bradle. And Bradle swings, long fly ball, but drifts out of play. They moved this diamond a little bit. They reconfigured it. That foul line used to run right out where you can see that lamppost by that blue tent. It used to create a lot of havoc. So they moved home plate up about 10, not 10, but probably 7, 8 feet. And they just tilted it a little bit. And they do have more room there. It's a lot safer for the left fielders now. Patty Caputo talked to the staff over here and got them to make that change. And Bradle reaches out and just slaps it between Jones and the third baseman. Looked like Nick might have been caught leaning. Dave got way out on his front foot, and I think Nick thought he was going to slap it up the middle. But Davey brought his hands through, pulled that ball. Here's Luke Thorpe. And Luke flips it toward right center. It looked like Evans was going to make the catch, but at the last minute, Brandon Molina called him off and made the catch. Brings up Jake Zeman. Of course, his dad, Ronnie, Hall of Fame pitcher, is working up with the Schaumburg Park District now. Notes is telling Peckus to holster that, not to throw it. Don't hurt yourself. And Zeman goes the other way, and Evans started back, circled around, made the catch. So we head to the bottom of the 6th, 8-6. Again, it is a warm day, and a lot of these guys are getting their first taste of a warm day with a little sun out. And sometimes you see a team name and you think you're going to have an easy one, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a rock fight. And it kind of throws you for a loop. So it's going to be Brandon Molina, Nick Jones, Nestor Carrillo. Well, the other game with 10 deep is 0-0. Not sure who they're playing down there. They might be playing Goodwood. That game's only in the first inning down there. was, Dave Brado told Jake Zeman it got blown inside, never crossed. Jake does come back and grab one. And Molina, wicked. One hopper off of Dulude. Leadoff man on. See if that sparks him here. Here comes Nick Jones. Nick is an interesting hitter. He's a big, strong dude. He's got a lot of swings in his golf bag. He's peeking a little bit toward right field.
Have fun, Mike. We need you, Mike. Mike, come on. Push the bat up. That bat, I know you can. Push the bat. Come on, Nick. Have fun, boys. Come on.
And this could be, and there's a ball hit to center, easily caught by the center fielder. I was going to say that Nick might be a very important hitter because fat kids are waiting for something to get excited about. Brings up Nestor. Nick Jones, yes. Former Mudville guy. And there's a little pop-up, and Russ Dulude got there, and he flipped over the fence. So Rusty caught the ball, hit the fence, and you can see it's a short fence. And he flipped head over heels over the fence, and that allows Molina to go to second. So Mike Cruz with a base hit here can score a run. And Cruz, hard ground ball. Dulude, a little bobble, can't make the play. First and third. Brings up Jesse Rosado. So a little trouble of brewing here with 2 outs. So with 2 outs here, and they're playing Jesse pretty shallow. Got to be careful with that. And Jesse swings almost completely through it. So they're in the bottom of the first. Goodwood did not score. 10 deep coming to bat.
Love, come on, Love.
Takes that pitch a little high and deep. And if you're the fat kids, you need to start cashing in on some of these opportunities. And there's a little spinner that'll go as a strikeout, and they'll head to the 6th. Another threat. Fat kids leave a couple more on base. If you're a fat kid fan, the bad news is you trail by 2, heading to the top of the 6th. The good news is you'll have 10-1-2 coming up in the 6th, bottom of the 6th, if you can hang on here. You can see just a lot of slow walking here. By the fat kids is game is not coming easy for them. It's going to be Chris Shishan, Brian Fry, and Dave Winslow. And these were the guys that started the 2-run inning that put Bankroll ahead here.
Gotta cover the whole middle twice. Let's go, guys. Come on.
And Shishan flips it, and Evans did get there. Looked a little tentative, but he got there. Went down on a knee and made the belly catch. Brings up Brian Fry, last time up. Got an infield single. It's probably the first infield single he got since the Nixon administration. And there's a high, towering fly ball. Anthony.
Who out hits the scope?
And Emilio makes the catch. So 2 up, 2 down in quick order. It brings up Winslow. So after a flurry of runs the first 3-4 innings, all of a sudden, game got a little stingy.
Watch the line here, watch the line, watch the line over there. Dave, anywhere you want.
Winslow, soft fly ball. Rosado, he was a good 30, 35 feet out on the grass, tracked it, made the catch. Again, we got the wind blowing in from right center. Looked like the wind just kind of held that ball up, wouldn't let it get onto the carpet. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Fat Kids trailing by 2. It'll be Kevin Evans, Jason Camarillo, and Emilio Engel. It's a good spot here. If Evans can get on with your top coming up. Talk all the time about flipping the score late. The bottom of the 6th will qualify as late. And then try to go out with a lead into the 7th and see if the other guy can mentally recover in time to overcome it. The bankroll in the 7th will have 10-11-1 coming up. So if Fat Kids can push 3 or 4 across here, they might be in a good spot to maybe win a ball game after, quite honestly, they've kind of sleptwalked through this for and there's a swing, a little flare, long run for Thorpe. He won't get there. And that'll go as a strikeout, as he already had strike 2. Of course, Fat Kids and Goodwood are in the top half of the bracket. Whale and Menace are in the bottom half. So they are spread out, but Camarillo with Zeman, big paw, knocked it down. 2 outs. So Bankroll had the 9 a.m. game. And right now, Russ DeLude has had some tough plays at third, but other than that, the rest of the Bankroll defense has been rock solid. Of course, Russ had the big catch in foul territory. He's already got a big triple in the ball game. This is the 6th inning. Again, fighting a lot of glare here on my screen, so I don't pick up the comment right away. And there's a swing, and he hammers it, but right at Anthony, and they go 3 up, 3 down. We head to the top of the 7th. Bankroll clinging to a 2-run lead. See, Born Divine's got their tent set up.
Outfield, 10-11.
So right now, the bottom of the Bankroll lineup has been the difference in the ball game. They've contributed. Now, really, the reason why they're winning this ball game so far. Had Bobby Monroe, when he played on Mudville, we were in Carroll Stream, and he made a Class A National Championship All-Tournament team. And Bobby dumps it in. Oh, he thought about it, but he slides to a stop and comes back. Kid must have walked 10 times on Sunday. It's about a 40-mile-an-hour breeze all day. I added it up in the book. We walked 21 times on a Sunday.
Come on, kid, put a charge in the one. Up one. Up one.
So it brings up Anthony. And he tries to go big down the line. Evans can't make the catch. Be honest with you, had he caught that, he probably would have carried it out of play, and Monroe would have went to second. As it is now, Anthony's got 2 strikes on him. If you're Nestor here, you'd like to see if he can induce a double play. Monroe and Anthony both run pretty good, so the ball would have to be hit relatively firm or right at Camarillo, taking him to the bag. And you can see they tried to sniff out a potential hit and run there. As Nestor airmailed one, but instead he drills a base hit. Monroe takes the turn, and Molina, another perfect one-hop throw to third. Monroe would have been toast, but he already showed you he can throw. Meanwhile, looks like 10 deep. Looks like 10 deep might be leading that ball game in the second. Not quite sure who the home and visitors are. And Pellegrino, little ground ball. They're going to try to turn it. Camarillo can't make the catch. Little insurance run scores 9-6. Of course, Pellegrino, we told you, he's got great back control. Good hustle by Anthony. As he was sliding in, Jason had to reach over to the sliding base runner. Good hard slide by Anthony. Still only 1 out, and now you got Duluth and Andrews looming. And this time in the game here where if you're rusty, you don't want to overthink it. And he tries to go the other way to Evans. Anthony will tag. They'll throw it into second. 2 outs.
Let him come to you. Don't force him. He'll come to you.
Actually, there might be 1 out here. Brings up Andrews. And Andrews is a dangerous hitter because he's strong enough to hit a gap. And he pounds a base hit. 10th run scores. Pellegrino will stop at second. I was just going to say that Andrews is such a strong kid. He puts a lot of pressure on your defense. Brings up Bradle. 10-6 here. Bankroll doing what you hope a good team is going to do here in the 7th, getting themselves some insurance. And the Fat Kids right now. Now Matt Dozin is going to pinch run. I don't think Matty's actually on the money line roster. I think he just coaches money line. This Bankroll team plays out of Itasca. So here's Bradle.
Coming this way. No. Gotta come to you, Dave. Gotta come to you.
And Bradle let that ball get a little deep. And Evans, a one-handed catch.
Ball's loose, Mike.
And Matty Dozen didn't realize the ball. Now it gets loose again.
Yes, sir.
Another run scores. So fantastic catch by Evans. He reached out with one hand along the screen and caught it. He threw it in. Nestor caught it. Mickey Balestri was yelling, ball loose, ball loose. And I think Nestor thought the runner was going. He tried to flip it to Peckus, but he flipped it wide. That allowed Dozen, the pinch runner, to score. And Andrews got into third. Now Luke Thorpe can drive in another run. So 3-run inning here by Bankroll. They take a 5-run lead. And Thorpe pounds it off the pitcher, but right to Jason Camarillo. And Luke Thorpe has laid out a couple of ropes tonight. And he's gotten robbed by Nick Jones, and now he gets the crazy deflection. Camarillo tracking the ball, changed directions, and made the catch. Do or die, bottom of the 7th. Coming up for the Fat Kids. As they're in jeopardy of getting dumped into the consolation bracket. Moneyline's just played a pretty solid game, and to be honest with you, the Fat Kids really haven't challenged them. They've hit some hard balls at Duluth, but their infield's had a pretty easy day. Too many fly balls. So it is going to be 3-4-5. Misa, Peckus, and Molina. Now the Fat Kids did not play. Ground ball back to Zeman for out number 1. They did not play in the kickoff classic. I know they play out here, I believe in the Monday AB League, and that league hasn't started yet. And I'm not sure where else they're playing. I know they've been playing in Itasca. Peckus drives it, and that gets over to left fielder. Matt Peckus is the one guy on the Fat Kids that's been having a terrific day. Throw to the plate. Bradle can't handle it, or they might have had him. Solo home run for Peckus. So Matt Peckus launched that ball down the left field line. 11-7. And that ball was, the relay was right on the money. Dave Bradle, one of the sweetest guys you're going to meet. 16-inch softball. I was streaming out in Westchester to TOC a few years back. And Molina, towering fly ball, center fielder is there, and he puts it away. Shishan. So 2 outs down to their last out, and they had put Dave out in right. And a guy hit a line drive to him, and he came flying in, hit him in the chest, and he dropped it. And after the game, Dave was like, you had to show that. He's like, my phone's blowing up. Nick Jones, ground ball to Luke, and Fry scoops it. And a very business-like, methodical win for Bankroll as they beat the Fat Kids at 11-7. I wouldn't call it a major upset, but it's a slight upset. So Bankroll does what they have to do they'll get themselves a little time now to refresh themselves. Fat Kids will jump into the consolation. So we will have a game sometime around 1 o'clock, and we'll get our first look at Whale this year, and they'll be playing either Menace or Bullies. So on behalf of SSA Broadcast, I hope you enjoyed it. Stick with us. We'll also have some games later in the day, including the Winter Bracket Championship game tonight. So stay with us. It's softball all day. This is Gio on behalf of the SSA, Gold Rush Gaming, saying we'll talk to you soon.